Hi everyone, thanks for joining. I am going to be using Crafter's Choice Melt and Pour Goat's Milk Soap base for this tutorial. I'm calling this project the Sculpted Layer Melt and Pour technique. I just got the idea because when I make cold process soap, I've done this with cold process soap and it worked out pretty well. So I wanted to give it a try with Melt and Pour, and I kind of wanted to do it in place of like a mica line. I thought it would be kind of cool to mimic that, and I know you can do mica lines with melt and pour. I just wanted to try a different technique and see how it would work out with like a sculpted layer project. So what I did was I think I weighed about a little over 5 ounces to 6 ounces to get started with the first color, and I went ahead and melted that down, and then the second color that I used, I probably used about 2 ounces of the base, and then the third color that I used, which would have just been white, I used, I want to say 8 ounces of soap total, just so I would have a little bit of difference in the design, and you'll see it at the end. Now each of the colors I just kind of melted down and made sure I spritzed the mold really good so the soap would come out at the end. And I always like to add my colors in when I put them in the microwave, because when the soap melts down, like the micas seem to dissolve a little bit better. You don't necessarily have to use as much rubbing alcohol, and the pigment disperses well. For each of the layers, I just waited till they hardened up, which was probably about 15 to 30 minutes on each layer, and then once it was hard to the touch, but still a little bit like you could push it, I went ahead and started sculpting. And I chose to use a fork simply for this tutorial because it's something that everybody has at home, and I thought it would be a good thing to test it. But you can use different tools to kind of do the same effect and start scraping the soap. You just want to make sure that you clean all the lines when you're done and get as much as the, you'll see like curls come out of the soap, as much of that as you can out of the soap before you pour the next layer. And I thought it would be fun to just do like a different design, so I decided to use both ends of the fork to give it a little bit of a unique design, and it wouldn't be so obvious that it was just a fork. And this is the second color that I'm doing, or the second layer. Once everything was cleaned, I added this Proud Peacock from Nurtures. I'm just going to say I like all their micas, and I like these little small sizes. They're perfect for if you want to do small test batches, or if you're doing melt and pour, just because you seem to have to use a lot less pigment when coloring versus cold process. And I forgot to show earlier that I was using Candle Science Sea Mist. It is a very clean smell, and it's a unisex fragrance. And then I just went ahead and did the same thing with this layer. I poured it on. Again, it was about 2 ounces of soap, waited for it to firm up, and then started scraping away at the layers. And I kind of tried to line up everything up as best as I could, so that way the pattern was in the same spot. I thought about also, staggering the pattern to see what the effects are, but I think I'll do that another day and just see the different types of lines that you get. Once I got to the final layer of soap, I did go ahead and wait for the soap to harden up just a little bit. I think I waited about 2 to 3 minutes for the top to start getting a sort of skin on it. I didn't want to waste all these soap scraps. I was going to save them and use them for another project. but I thought it would be fun to just kind of sprinkle them on top and give it a confetti look. So I just took them and then started tossing them on there, and then to make sure they stayed in there, because I wasn't sure if they were going to stay by just putting them in there, I went ahead and poked the top with a fork a little bit so some of the pieces would sink down into the soap a little bit. I waited about 3 to 4 hours before I popped this out of the mold after I poured the final layer, just to make sure everything was dry, and I was pleased with the outcome. The layers were how I envisioned it. I do wish they could have been lined up a little bit better, but I think for not really measuring it out, it came out pretty good. I just want to thank you all for watching the video, and if you like this melt and pour video or want to see more, go ahead and subscribe, because I plan on putting out quite a few more soon, and I do appreciate you guys following and watching my videos. So thank you all.